Oh boy, oh boy. Well, greetings all. It's Max, and we're back, and we're going to talk about Christian Shill organizations today. Which ones? Going to be them ones, Answers in Genesis, Institute for Creation Research, and all these guys that look like they're doing great work out there, defending the Bible and Genesis and combating evolution and doing all of the debates and using all this science to prove themselves right. And what I've realized here in the last year, I used to love this stuff. This is kind of what ushered me in. I don't know if it guided me into salvation, really, or it was more after I was saved. I was really interested in it. About just the common sense, basic proofs about all of the stuff that they're telling us in school is garbage. They're scientific chalkboard theories that don't match up to reality. But what I've kind of determined here in the last year is that because they are so ardently against anything having to do with flat Earth, that they have to be shills and they have to be liars, because you can't decide that a lot of scientific theories and scientific things like radiometric dating, you can't prove those false, like they are false, right? And then not understand that cosmology, which is laughed at by the other sciences, because everyone knows cosmology is just made up. Look up Michio Kaku about what he thinks about cosmology. And their margins of error on cosmology is crazy, ridiculous high, to the point that you may as well just say that you've got, pink elephants orbiting the moon or whatever, and that's where you get the phases of the moon, because it doesn't matter. None of the cosmological science adds up. But the very fact that Answers in Genesis and Institute for Creation Research won't touch anything to do with the shape of the earth leads me to believe that they're a shill organization that's there to be a controlled opposition to mainstream science. Because there is no way that an organization, they've been around since the 70s. Another thing is both of these companies got their start in the same place in like 1970. And now they're worth, tens of millions of dollars, and they bank almost $10 million every year. And it's like, where are they getting all this money from? It's just a question out there. And in the biblical defending of 6,000 year biblical history, they're doing a good job in that. But why do they have this roadblock when it comes to flat Earth? Something tells me it's because they're a 501c3 organization, which means that they're a state-run thing. In case you didn't know, these churches out here, the reason they can't talk about politics and they can't talk about sodomy laws and they can't talk about all these different topics is because they'll lose their 501c3 tax shelter status. If you want to go launder some money, you go to a church. And that's the way that it is. So I think someone's telling them, yeah, you can do whatever you want, just don't talk about this. And they're liars, because in their message statement, they say that they follow the Bible. Okay. Down here it says the difference lies in how we interpret what we study. The Bible, the history book of the universe, okay, provides a reliable eyewitness account, the beginning of all things, and can be trusted to tell the truth in all areas it touches on. Well, the Bible touches on this place called Earth that we live. And without a shadow of a doubt, in all versions of the Bible, it says the earth does not move. Okay? What are you going to do with that? Is that figurative? Also, you have the account where Joshua made the sun stand still, sun and moon stand still. So, given that knowledge, we know that the earth does not move, and things would then have to be rotating around the earth. If you're going to believe the Bible and the sun and the moon stood still. So, right there, you're already starting with a geocentric universe, not a heliocentric universe with the sun in the middle. It's the earth in the middle and everything else spinning around us. There is no way to get around those verses of scripture. You can talk about the circle of the earth and these other, the corners of the earth and all of these other little passages out there. But in every single version that anyone reads, you're going to have the account of Joshua at Jericho. You're going to have the account where the earth stands upon or sits upon nothing and cannot be moved. Okay? You're going to have these verses, but they don't want to touch it. Why not? Because they're a shill organization. And, unfortunately, if they're going to lie to you, then you cannot trust them for anything else either. You can't really consider them a Christian organization. You call them a state organization. They're a 501c3. Answers in Genesis. Too bad. I like reading some of their stuff, but it is what it is. Watch out for what they say. All right? The other one up we have here is Institute for Creation Research, as I had mentioned. Started here with Henry Morris. Now, Henry Morris has his book out there, and I can't recall the name of it. It's a good book, but the information in his book, if you just look it up on Amazon, it'll show up. It's like $90 because it's been out of print forever. But the information that he puts forth in his book, people have been using that stuff since 1970 or 80 or whenever the thing came out. All right? Nobody in this area has come out with anything new at all. Yet these guys are worth, $50 million, their businesses, and nobody else is. There's no other organizations out there that are doing this. How is that even possible? Or why do they have so much money? If there's other people out there doing it, does nobody donate to these other places? And, I think it has a lot to do with that controlled opposition thing, because Ken Ham was the guy that was doing the evolution debate with Mr. Bowtie on, which was a softball debate that was just designed to be a spectacle. And like the guy is an actor. The guy makes as much money as the president in a year. He's like $250,000 is his salary. A bunch of, charlatans, I think. Now, I don't know about Henry Morris. Henry Morris seemed pretty genuine, but he was operating 20 years ago. He recently passed away. And it piques a lot of questions. But when you look up Flat Earth with any of these guys, they're all very negative, very down on it. Like, you got to be crazy to believe this stuff. I'll bring up another guy, too. We'll bring up this guy. You all may know of Kent the Shyster Hovind. Very entertaining the first time you've seen him. And then after that, you realize that he's been doing the same thing for 30 years. It's a script. Line after line after line after line after line after line. As soon as the cameras are rolling, here comes Kent with his lines. I can literally respond for Kent with Kent's answer when I watch a debate, because he's so predictable that way. He's got a lot of issues too, but when he goes about Flat Earth, he doesn't know what he's talking about either. It's like, so how can you be so bang, 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 bang on your evolution debunking? And he doesn't just cover evolution. People ask him questions off the cuff, and he'll answer some other things. But with all this stuff, he's real bang on. But then the shape of the earth, no, doesn't know anything about that. And people who believe anything other than spinning globe are cuckoos. I think he's controlled opposition, and I think he's a shill. Not a very good shill, obviously, because he went to prison. So we do the little search on answers in Genesis for Flat Earth, right? And it says popular today due to internet videos. Flat Earth today is popular due to internet videos. Now remember, the guys that are involved in Institute for Creation Research, you have to have multiple PhDs to even get a job there doing their articles and things. It's not quite that hardcore for answers in Genesis, but Kent Ham and a lot of the other people who are involved in Answers in Genesis all have like PhDs. They're all like science trained people. So their investigative ideas on flat earth is not the Bible. What does the Bible say? It's people must think that because of internet videos. Because of internet videos. Everybody all throughout history, everywhere, has assumed the earth to be flat. It wasn't until the early 20th century, around 1920-ish, that the earth being a ball was taught in America. There are people today that are interviewed being taught flat earth when they are in grade school. They're still alive in their hundreds. So when these guys started in 1970, there was more of these people that were alive that were taught that the earth was flat in school. That was 50 years ago now. They wouldn't have been very old in 1970 either. The idea of a flat earth lacks both biblical and scientific support and shows a faulty understanding of history. These are people that do nothing but poke holes in scientific theories related to the age of the earth, and they use the Bible as their main guide. But when it comes to the actual shape of the earth, well, those guys are just internet crazy Yahoo conspiracy theorists. Flat earth arguments are generally misrepresentation or misinterpretation of the evidence. Both science and the Bible confirm beyond a doubt the earth is a sphere. Confirm to me the earth is a sphere using the Bible. Seems to me somebody would have done that by now. Yet there's nothing. All we have is pretty CGI photos from NASA. That's it. Dig deeper. Does the Bible teach the earth is flat? Flat earth proof, just a mirage. Now, these all of these articles are poo-pooing it. You could tell they did no research, but it's like they're mandatorily, somebody from above told them you have to say flat earth is nonsense. So COVID-19 and flat earth. Like much of the world, we at Answers in Genesis have been hunkered down for weeks in response to concern over the spread of COVID-19. Not only are the Creation Museum for Ark Founder closed, but Answers in Genesis offices are empty, with many of us, including me, mostly working from home. I don't care. So it says, if you look at the title of this blog, you wonder what COVID has to do with the flat earth movement. I've been studying and reporting on the flat earth movement for more than 4 years. Okay, well, you haven't said anything. One of the things I've discovered is that flat earthers are very much into conspiracies. Well, if every government on the planet tells you that the earth is round and you can demonstrate that it's flat, that's one hell of a conspiracy, isn't it? Almost like if every school in the world teaches evolution and it's demonstrably, laughably false, so false it's not even science. It's so ridiculously false, it doesn't take a $50 million organization like Answers in Genesis to prove it false. It takes a guy like me. Someone with a little bit of logic can debunk evolution. Sort of makes you wonder why it's being taught in schools. Almost like the government has no interest in actually teaching people anything. How could they teach stuff that's so obviously wrong? If you search long enough, you find websites promoting conspiracy theories about cootie virus. Since flat earthers are heavily invested in conspiracies, these arguments have some of the sites put forth should appeal to flat earthers. Consequently, I've been curious to see what flat earthers think about COVID. I've been monitoring flat earth websites and YouTube channels for weeks. So his whole article is nothing other than to say people who believe flat earth are conspiracy theorists. Well, people who believe in creation by God in a 6,000-year-old earth, they're conspiracy theories too. right? These are people who should welcome flat Earth and actually be funding research for flat Earth, given that they make profit $8 million every year, Answers in Genesis does. $8 million pure profit every single year. Okay? You can look that up because they're a 501c3. Ken Ham makes $234,000 a year as CEO. All right? Not a nickel spent to look at the biblical model of the earth. That's the thing. You can say, oh, well, we don't think it's flat. Well, according to the Bible, what does it look like then? Because if you point to that science book that you've been saying is complete garbage and is the entire foundation of your organization and the basis that you accept these gifts and these donations and this money to prove this science book wrong, but then you flip the page to cosmology and, oh, gee, that's perfect. Everything they say about cosmology is right on. We went to the moon. We went to Venus. We believe in redshift. We believe in gravity. We believe in all this stuff. So yeah, these are the shill organizations that you stay away from. You got Living Waters out there too with Banana Man. The old Banana Man, I forget what his name is. Ray Comfort. With old Ray Comfort, but Ray's thing is really just about being sort of a street preacher and spreading the gospel and making people think differently about different things. And the reason that I call Ray a shill is because I'm pretty sure Ray knows that the earth is flat. Okay? Because he has a flat earth video that's just a clickbaity thing where he asks people questions about why 6.5 million people believe that the earth is flat. And that's only in America. They say 2%, so it's really probably more like 10. And he's around the college campuses, you know, familiar with Ray Comfort. He does his little spiel on whatever it is, or abortion, and spreads the gospel. But he goes to these people and asks them about, you know, what they think about flat earth and this and that. And he's not really poo-pooing the idea or pressing them very hard about any of that. And he's bumped into a few people that were talking about flat earth, and he wasn't down on them. He just said, well, I don't personally subscribe to that because of, you know, moon eclipses or something. But you can hear in his voice that he's just saying that. Shills, man. Can't trust nobody. So I always say, you know, go out and get your camera, go to a flat water somewhere out in a big lake, and see what you can see. I mean, that's all there is to it. And then that's about what we got. You know, watch out. You know, I love the idea of creation apologetics and Book of Genesis apologetics and stuff. But why are you going to stop there? As a Christian, it's your duty to teach the whole Bible, not just, well, I only specialize in fossils dating back between the Mesozoic and whatever, you know. It's like, so you're specializing in a science that you spent your entire career disproving, and that's your specialty. The only thing that I found in what they cover that's actually is pretty bang on is when they talk about genetics and how genetics works, because it's all standard stuff. When we talk about, everybody agrees we all started somewhere in Africa, and we're all related to the same original two people. We can get behind that. So that's what we got. And with that, we're going to be out of here.